Hey everybody, welcome to Rappin with Amanda, formerly known as Rappin with Sharon. Sharon has something to take care of today, so I'm stepping in, so you're stuck with me. I'm glad to be here, and I hope you are too. First things first, let's get some information out of the way, and then we'll jump into this thing. So for a whole year, over a year, we have had a PRN warm line. It's not went anywhere, very much a part of what we do, and it's still there for you. You can call that number 24/7. It's always there for you. It's free. It's confidential. What that means is that when the person that answers the phone asks you for your name or any of that pertinent information, you always have the right to say, "No, I'm good. I just want to talk." And they'll say, "Cool, let's go." And that number is at the bottom of the screen, but it's 833-390-7728. It's 24 hours, 7 days a week. There's a lot of great folks there that are there waiting to listen to you and to support you on your journey or any of the barriers that you're experiencing as you move towards your journey. So definitely give those folks a call if you're just needing somebody to connect with. Human connection for me is valuable, so that may be a super good resource for you. The next bit of information is the warm line. Miss Kim at the warm line has been, or the welcome desk, sorry. Miss Kim at the welcome desk has been rocking it out for well over a year, working virtually, working from her home, and still taking welcome desk phone calls. She loves to hear from you all. She lets us know that you call and you're asking how we are doing. It's a great place to connect back with PRN, just to share information or find out how your favorite PRN employee is doing, or to get contact information about your favorite PRN employee. So definitely give Miss Kim a call. That's available Monday through Friday from 8 to 4:30. So that's just regular business hours, because we want Miss Kim to be able to take care of herself and to be able to practice her own wellness as well. And that number is 390-7709. All right, so let's jump into it, y'all. Hey, Miss Kim. Speaking of Miss Kim, there she is in the comments on Facebook. Glad to see you here today, Miss Kim. So typically, Rappin with Sharon today, Rappin with Amanda, is about RAP. And RAP is a wellness recovery action plan. And this is just time to have a conversation about what a RAP is, what some of the parts of a RAP are, and how it can be beneficial to us as we go through life and as we continue walking our journey. RAP has been super instrumental in my personal, recovery walk. And I didn't really know a whole lot about RAP until about 3 years ago when I took a RAP training from a wonderful, wonderful lady named Damie. And it was her and her training partner, and his name was Marcus. And it was a phenomenal day that we got to spend talking about how to take care of ourselves, how to maintain who we were and our wellness on a daily basis, and what happens when maybe we're not feeling too hot. When I started RAP, it changed my life. I made a RAP plan. Sometimes the book looks like this. Sometimes it has pictures of actual faces instead of just this generic stuff. But I still utilize that today. Now, I think it's recommended that you update a RAP plan every year. I know for me, my stuff changes. As I develop and grow, so does my stuff, right? Because my stuff is cunning, baffling, and powerful. But there are tools that are more powerful than that, and RAP is one of them. One of the most important parts of RAP for me was those early warning signs. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the importance of early warning signs and what early warning signs are. So an early warning sign is an internal feeling in response to a trigger and how we perceive them. Perception is 90% of our reality. And depending on your trauma, we're going to perceive things differently than the next person may. My personal story, I was incarcerated. So there are things like police sirens that give me an internal feeling that may not give you an internal feeling. There are things like keys being dropped on a concrete floor. I know that sounds so off the wall and so bizarre, but there were so many times an officer's keys would just fall and hit the floor, and our floors were concrete. And every time I hear that, it sends me back there and I get a physical response. That physical response to me is that my heart starts beating quickly. I may start to sweat a little bit. My mind starts racing. So those are just a couple of how perception for me is different than maybe for other people, because for you, keys on concrete might not be nothing. You might not even know what keys on concrete sound like, and that's okay. So that's the importance of perception. That my perception can be, and it is okay that it is different than yours, because we've all experienced different things. Early warning signs can happen for no reason. You may just get that feeling, like you just may feel it. We've all been there, I feel like. And this may be because of smaller triggers that have happened, maybe throughout the month, the week, the day, just little things that add up. Even when you feel like there was no trigger, sometimes you may just be like, why am I feeling this way? I kind of woke up that way on, what's today? Thursday? On Tuesday, I kind of woke up that way. Like, why am I feeling this way? What is going on? Nothing is going on in my life. Nothing has triggered me. Why am I experiencing this feeling? So it's important to work through your action plan and deal with those feelings, because when I don't deal with those feelings, it can lead to something bigger than just those early warning signs, bigger than just that uncomfortableness, bigger than just like that questioning myself. So it is really important for me personally to know what early warning signs in my own wellness and recovery and my unwellness and potential relapse are. And it was something that I spent a long time like, how do I find those out? Part of a wrap is developing an action plan for when you experience an early warning signs. Your wellness toolbox is a great place where you can find things to help you through your early warning signs. And you can divide your action plan into certain like things that I must do when I feel these early warning signs are happening. The things I might feel like I want to do or that are right when these early warning signs are happening. The things I must do on a daily basis to maintain my wellness, and the things I might want to do. So those are just some things that are important to me in my early warning wellness signs. That was a tongue tie. In my early warning wellness signs. So let's talk a little bit more about things the early warning wellness signs could be. That is a mouthful. That's a lot of stuff. So with an early warning signs action plan, you are going to identify those internal subtle signs of change that indicate that you need to take further action. That feeling within inside, that nagging feeling, those racing thoughts, that heartbeat that quickens. Maybe you sweat a little bit or a lot. That's okay, because sometimes I do too. I'm just saying. When we know those, we're able to take action towards those, right? So we develop an early warning signs action plan. And we list those early warning signs and then how we can potentially combat those to maintain wellness. Hey, Darlene, I'm glad you're here today. I know you probably signed on thinking you were going to see Sharon, but ta-da, it's me, Amanda. How you respond to your early warning signs may differ depending on the intensity of them and of the situations you're in. That's why for me it's important to have a plethora of wellness tools, because not every tool works every time for me. My situations are so different that those tools they have to change for me. So my wellness toolbox has an array of different tools in it to use for when I'm experiencing those early warning signs, to let me know that, like, hey, you might want to be careful, because sometimes it can be a slippery slope. And that's just what my inner monologue tells me. I would be curious to hear what your inner monologue tells you when you are dealing with those early warning signs. What is it that your inner mind says to yourself? Like, hey, something's not right. Hey, red light here. We need to do something different. What does your inner monologue say? Let's see. Having some wellness tools. Things that you must do, things that you could do, and things that you want to try. For me, that's how mine is that I have things that I have to do. There are things that I have to do every day. So every day I have to take a shower. Like that is part of my wellness. Because when I'm not unwell, that's one of the first things that goes is my hygiene. So for me, every day I must take a shower. Every day I must drink water. Every day I must talk to certain people in my life. I also have things that I might do. So I might go for a walk. I might journal. I might call a different person. I might play a game on my phone. So things that I might do, things that worked for me in the past, and I might want to try again, but they're not necessarily required in my wellness. And then for me, I have things that I want to try to do because maybe I haven't tried these things in the past and I want to see if they would work in the future. So that can be things like coloring, listening to music, doing pottery, playing with your animal, having a conversation with your partner. It can be going for a drive. It can be a plethora of things, but things that hey, this might work. Let me put this on my list of things that I might want to try. So for me, like I said, it's important that I have things that I must do, things that I might do, and things that I want to try. So those are the three different categories of things that I want to have in my early warning signs action plan. That is a mouthful, y'all. I'm a fast talker, so I gotta slow that down when I talk because it is a tongue twister for sure. So, and rap is so cool because it all just ties in together. It all just ties in together because those early warning action plans goes right into your toolbox, and that's how we develop that toolbox. So I'm going to share what some of my early warning work looks like. And this is the worksheet that I'm working off of, and this is part of the rap book. And I'll read this to you, and we'll just kind of talk about what those are. What are some of your early warning signs? What are some of the signs that you feel within yourself that you know that, like, if I don't take control, or if I don't deal with this, or if I don't reach out for support now, then things might get worse? What are some of those signs for you? Because I promise we probably have some things in common. And I'll give you a couple of mine in just a minute. So what are my early warning signs? For me, my early warning signs are racing thoughts, a hard time concentrating, lack of enthusiasm, avoidance. I will avoid everything there is to avoid. Hard time processing thoughts and feelings. While I may know what I feel, I may have a hard time explaining to the next person what I'm thinking or what I'm feeling when I am experiencing that early warning sign. And the next one was hard time expressing and voicing feelings or thoughts, silence, pulling away from others, and resistance. So as I read that out loud to y'all, it sounds like a lot of what I do is pull away, and that's an early warning sign for me. Some of the other things that happen are, like I said, my heart beats quickly, my palms sweat, my head will sweat a lot. It's a situation. So my head will sweat. Those are some of the physical things that happen. I may get dry mouth. I may become physically anxious, physically irritable, like don't touch me because that's not going to be a positive thing for me because I'm physically, like my body is anxious. So those are some of the things that I've learned about myself as I've experienced unwellness and wellness and unwellness and wellness again. The thing about mental health recovery is that it's a daily thing. It was one thing for me to put down my drugs and to work through that process. And that's not a daily thing for me anymore. In the beginning, it was. In the beginning, I had to think every second of every day about not using. Today, it's a little bit different. And that may be because of my work and because I'm able to talk to people every day about recovery and wellness. So I stay in that area of substance use recovery. But my mental health, y'all, is a different story. It's a whole nother beast. And that is legitimately a second for second reprieve. So I have to be very cognizant of what I'm feeling, because if I'm not, those internal things that I'm feeling, if I'm not listening, can really go to something bigger. And next thing we know, I'm having a full manic or depressive moment. And a moment for mania and depression for me is a while, days, weeks, months. And so today, my main goal is to prevent myself the best way that I can from the ebb and flow of that mania and depressive cycles. A lot of times I can feel that cycle coming on. I just spoke to some of my friends on Facebook the other day about I felt a season of depression. I felt depression coming over me. I felt that part of my bipolar affecting me, and I wasn't sure how long it was going to last. And the bright side for me was to look forward to the mania, because at least like I'm going to get some stuff done. I'm going to be able to take care of myself. But then I thought about that, and I thought, how can I combat falling into that sometimes? What can I do about the triggers around me? And thankfully, speaking that out, putting that out there, I had people that reached out to me that have never reached out to me before and said, hey, I'm here. I feel you. I understand. This is my experience, and this is what I do. And they were able to peer support me through my stuff. And so today, I don't feel like I am entering a cycle of depression. I feel very well today. And I really think that is because I was able to step back and identify some of those early warning signs. And because thankfully, there were people in my support network, whether I had talked to them recently or not, that saw that, hey, Amanda's in danger and not doing well, and we want to support her. So for those of you who reached out to me, I am very appreciative. And you are probably one of the biggest reasons that I am not in a cycle of depression and mania today. So the next part of early warning signs, like we talked about earlier, is what actions will I take and what wellness tools will I use to respond when I notice those signs? Some of the things that I chose were deep breathing. Y'all, deep breathing does more for me than I ever thought it would. So let's talk about cigarette smoking or any kind of smoking, vaping, whatever. So scientific research has proven that people are addicted to, yes, tar and tobacco, right, in a cigarette, but they're also addicted to, a lot of people get stressed out and want to go smoke, right? That's because when they're smoking, they're breathing. They're taking deep breaths in and they're exhaling deep breaths. So they're basically doing breathing exercises to de-stress. They're just doing it with a cigarette or a vape or, whatever their thing is. And that's your thing. I'm here for it. You are where you are, and I love you either way. So breathing is a big thing for me. I don't have to have that oral fixation anymore to now know how to breathe. There's a really cool technique called square breathing. And it's you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, you exhale for 4 seconds, and you hold again for 4 seconds. And it is huge in my personal recovery and in my early morning signs. And it's probably the quickest way to get me from going from 60 back to 0 again. Because I wanna idle around like the 0 to 10. Like that's my resilience zone. That's when Amanda is the best she can be, right? So it can keep me from going all the way here, and it can bring me back quickly, or it can bring me back quickly from going all the way on this end too. So breathing is an awesome and very easy action that I can take. I can do it anywhere, all day, every day, and people are never going to think anything different about me because I'm doing 4 square breathing. They're not even going to have a clue I'm doing 4 square breathing. There's some really good YouTube videos about 4 square breathing. If you like guided things like that, they have some of those. If that's your thing, go check them out. They have a lot of guided meditations, guided mindfulness things on YouTube. YouTube is a great resource for things like that. If you need help and support with someone guiding you with counting or even just a new wellness tool. Another one of the things that I do is journaling. I like to use my phone, and if you have an iPad or an iPhone, You have a notes area, and in your notes is a place to write notes. And that's exactly what I do. I journal, and I keep this in my phone, and I can do this anywhere, and I can take it with me anywhere. And I find that I may sit down and like reread some of my journal entries and think like, man, I remember when I was going through that, even if it was a week ago, right? Last week I went through that, and that's how I was acting. Man, I know how to deal with that differently today. So journaling also gives me a way to like look back and figure out a different way to deal with certain situations and circumstances. Because like I said before, for me, not every situation can be resolved with the same action. I may have to find a different action to continue my wellness. The next thing I have on here is talk to someone who will listen. And when I say talk to someone who will listen, I mean someone who will actually listen. Someone who will listen to hear versus listen to respond. Often, for myself and for many others, maybe even you, it's so easy for me to, while someone is talking, for me to think about, okay, well, how am I going to respond to this person? What am I going to say to them? And when I do that, I miss a lot of what people are saying. I miss a lot of the tone, the things they're experiencing. I miss their body language. I miss their facial expressions. I miss a lot of stuff. So for me, I look to talk to someone who I know will listen. And I have those people in my life that I can say, hey, I just need to talk, and I just need you to listen. And then if I need advice or encouragement or support from them, when I'm done being heard, I may then ask for that. And they're really good about giving it to me. So I'm thankful for those supports in my life. I think I also have to find people who can help ask me questions and help me process my thoughts and to go outside my box. Because sometimes I get stuck in my thoughts and I can't see another way beyond that. So sometimes it is good to have those people in my life that are natural supports, right? That are just there to jump in and say, well, hey, have you tried this? Here's my experience. This is what I did. Those same people, though, are often not the people that I call on when I just need a listening ear. I tend to have two different groups for that. I have the group that listens and the group that responds, right? And I love them both. So if you're in either one of those groups, just know that I love you. Another thing I do is go outside. When I say go outside, I don't mean like go outside in the dead heat, like hang out in the sun. No, I go outside on my front porch. It's covered. I'll sit down in my rocking chair or a different chair on the porch and just close my eyes, listen to the birds, feel the heat on my skin. Think about what does it feel like? What does my skin feel like? Can I feel the hairs on my arms, being blown gently by the breeze? Do I hear the next door neighbor's wind chimes? What am I smelling? I take a minute to go outside and just get grounded. And that is a form of grounding. Sometimes I'll even go outside in the backyard and take my shoes off and stand on the earth barefoot. That's a physical grounding also. So I really like that because they say that the earth has a neutral field to it. So it gives out neutral energy, right? And so when I'm grounding and my bare feet are on the ground, or I'm sitting on the ground and my hands are on the ground, I am able to exchange my negative energy that I may be experiencing right then with the earth's neutral energy. And many times, most of the time, 99.99% of the time, I feel a lot better when I get up, when I go inside and take that deep breath. That grounding has really helped me just connecting. I'll take a shower. So taking a shower is something that I have to do every day, right? But even when I'm not doing well, when I am experiencing an early warning sign, often I can go get in the bathtub, I can go take a shower, and that water. So for you, that may be going to the beach, going to the lake, getting in your pool in the backyard, getting in your neighbor's pool, getting in your best friend's pool, whatever. Water may be a good source of comfort for you also. I've noticed that it is for a lot of people. And so the way that I get that is via the shower or the bath. My work family and my support family knows that like the baths are my thing. don't tell Denise this, but I take my computer in the bathroom with me, and I have a little setup, and I'll work in the bathroom and, have some bubbles going and sending emails and doing the things that I have to do, editing videos and things like that. But I find that not only am I really productive, but that I feel really good about what I'm doing when I'm doing it. So I really wish that I could just like walk around in a bathtub, because I feel like I would be the most like amazing person ever then if I could, but that's not reality. But it is one of my wellness tools for when I'm experiencing those early warning signs. Like, oh, I'm not feeling too good. Let me go run a bath. Let me go run a bath and get in there. And sometimes it may mean that I have to drain the water several times and rerun it. And that happens more times than I would like to admit, but it works for me. And the last two things I have are sleep and physical touch. Sleep can really be a tricky thing, because I can also utilize sleep as a coping skill when I'm experiencing a lot of depression or when I'm going through a depressive episode with my mental health. And it can cause me a deeper depression. But there are also times when I feel these early warning signs and they are too much for my emotional control center, my brain, right? And I need to shut that down. And the only way that I can do it is to go take a nap. So I really have to be mindful about where my intentions are when I go and have this sleep. Am I sleeping to get away from stuff, or am I sleeping to slow down? And if I'm sleeping to slow down, then for me, let's do it. If I'm sleeping to get away from stuff, to get away from situations, having to deal with things, then I'm avoiding. That's from my avoidance. And that's probably going to lead me down a slope that I really don't want to go on. But it probably will. And then, like I said, physical touch. Sometimes just a hug, just somebody, a touch of your elbow, just someone touching your back, for me can be really helpful. Now, when I say physical touch, I mean consensual physical touch. Not everyone likes that. So if you know a friend or a family member who is experiencing some early warning signs that you're able to see, because sometimes other people don't, right? Because they're not there yet. Don't just go and hug them or touch them, because that may be that trigger that is the icing on the cake for them. Ask them, hey, do you mind if I hug you? Do you mind if I touch your back right now? So let's maintain consensualness about that. Let's normalize consensuality in 2021 and ask people, hey, are you okay if I do this? But for me, I have certain people in my life, once again, in my support network, that knows when I'm going through things, you and only you are allowed to hug me and are allowed to hold my hand or touch my back or, rub my arm or touch my shoulder, things of that nature. I appreciate those from other people as well, but I appreciate them with consent. So just make sure that we're asking folks, are you okay if I hug you? Y'all, I know that COVID has happened, and we spent a year not being able to have physical touch with people outside of our homes. And if you are living by yourself like I was and stuff, then you were missing out on it, period. So I know that it may be really tempting just to go in and like bear hug. I know it. But really, let's ask them if that's okay with them. Because they may not be in a good place, and that may not be the time. So those are some of my early warning signs and some of the things that I will do. Now, let's talk about like some of the triggers that trigger our early warning signs. Some of the things that trigger my personal early warning signs are like, if I follow the news for too long, I can really feel myself getting out of control. I can feel myself becoming very explosive, very aggravated, irritated. I can find myself becoming very snippy with people. I can find myself starting to slip into cycles for me that are not good for my wellness. So sometimes I have to cut the news off. Sometimes I have to, not watch that for a while. And sometimes that means that I have to remove myself from conversations going on around me about things that are happening on the news. Knowledge is power. The more we know, the more we grow. I appreciate the news and letting us know what is happening out there. because that too is necessary. But sometimes I just need a small break to maintain my wellness. Another thing that can trigger me super quick is things that I don't have control over, like unexpected bills. If there is one thing that can really mess me up, it is getting an unexpected bill. And that can send me into a downward spiral very, very quickly. And it's one of the things that I still am working on and trying to figure out how to not respond and feel the way that I respond and feel, but it is still very much there. And it's one of the things that I struggle with the most, with knowing how to combat, and knowing how to not go there, right? Like not get into my cycles of my mental health and my unwellness can bring me into sometimes. I know that in my mind, I have this much money and these are my bills and this is what I'm going to do. And when I deviate with that, it really messes me up. I've also been a person who has experienced, financial issues in the past, like most of us probably have. And the idea of not having a home because I couldn't pay my mortgage, not having a car because I couldn't pay my car insurance, not having, these things is like super triggering for me when they happen. Another unexpected thing or something that's out of my control that really, really triggers me is car issues. Car issues really trigger me. Not just do car issues trigger me, talking about car issues trigger me. I do not do well going to the mechanic, going to get my oil changed, any of those things. I put that off as long as possible because I know when I go, like I'm just going to not leave there in a place where I feel well. I know that it's going to take me time to recuperate from that. How do I recuperate from that though, right? Well, that's what our action plan's for, which is the next part of RAP. We talk about our early warning signs. We write those down. We marinate. We brainstorm what those early warning signs are. You can add to that list, take away from that list. That list is ever changing. And then we develop a action plan for when those things happen. What next, right? And I rest by my action plan. These are some of the things that I do. Call these people, go outside, take a shower, all those things. So early warning signs and knowing what they are in yourself is really just a part of growth in your recovery. In my personal recovery, that was a part of my growth. And as I continue to grow and continue to walk in my journey of recovery, I become more and more knowledgeable and enlightened about these early warning signs. In the beginning, I was like, early warning signs, what? I don't know what those are. It just happens. And that's how it would feel, that this stuff would just happen and I had to react and respond right then, right? Well, the reality was that when I was able and in a place to sit down and think, feel, and process, and when I had other people in my life that were able to do those things with me, I was able to see, wow, yes, it may have blew up this day. When did it really start? And sometimes it started months ago, weeks ago, days ago. Sometimes it even started years ago. Sometimes it's things that I thought I had dealt with and moved on for, and they just like creep back in. And I have to, okay, I'm feeling these things. These are my early warning signs. Now what? Now what am I going to do? So the first part of that is to figure out what your early warning signs are. So I want to challenge you today to sit down and to come up with a list of some things that are your early warning signs. What are the early warning signs for you that you may be about to experience some unwellness? What are those early warning signs for you? I would love for like 5 or 6 of those if you have them. And I want to just challenge you to write those down. And that takes a lot of work. And for me, it took a lot of like self-reflection and figuring out who I was and what really did trigger me, because I thought triggers were seeing like somebody on the corner shooting dope. I thought that was a trigger. And while it is, right, there are so many other things that trigger me. And as I grew, I began to notice those. And I was able to say, well, that don't feel good. It don't feel right. And able to identify, hey, I'm being triggered, right? Because I can't control the things around me. I can't control people around me. So I can't say, hey, that's triggering me. Well, I can say, hey, that's triggering me. Could you please stop? But that person has the right to say no, right? No, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep doing this. Or I can't change that stop sign at the end of the road triggers me, right? It's there. It's not going nowhere. But I can change how I respond to my triggers. And that is the importance of knowing those early warning signs. Because when I know those things, I am then able to appropriately respond in a way that helps me maintain my journey of wellness without going backwards. My hope is to always have forward movement in my wellness and not backwards movement, though the backwards movement does happen more often than I would like for it to. I feel like that's, we're human. We're going to have days where we're just not there at that next step yet, and that's okay. But I never want to go back to the place that I started. So that's how early warning signs help me. Y'all, I'm telling you, I just can't, my mouth doesn't want to cooperate with my brain. So that's how early warning signs affected me and my recovery and my wellness, and how I was able to move on in my wellness. And it was really important for me to know those and to be able to identify them. So if you've not been able to do that yet, like I said, I want to challenge you to be able to identify some of those early warning wellness signs. Hey, Roberta, I'm glad to see you today. And yeah, let Sharon know next time. What are some of your early warning signs? What are some of the signs that you know, like, hey, I'm not doing too good? And let's talk about those next time. Sharon is awesome with coming up with plans of your early warning sign plan. She's awesome with that. So definitely make that list if you have time and if you're in the space for that. If you're not in the space, then today may not be the day for that. But if you are, I really want to encourage you to do that. And next week, next week we will move on to something else. I'm not sure what Sharon will have for you, but she knows that today we talked about early warning signs. And so bring some of those to her. Let her know what you have figured out about yourself. Roberta, what's your next steps for your peer support in New York? What are some of the things that you have to do up there that you're lacking? What's going on with that? I'm just going to take a quick break and have a sip of water while I wait on Roberta to respond. Do you have to take a test or something? What is missing there that you still have to do, or that you're needing to do, or having barriers to do? It's like college. Oh, so you have courses and stuff. And does it take a long time to get certified? Here it's just those 40 hours and 20 Con Ed. Is it a year, 2-year certification type thing? How long does it take? Several tests for each course. Well, Roberta, I'm going to say this. I know that you are one of the most resilient and amazing people that I know. I know that you have accomplished so many things that you didn't think that you could do, things that other people didn't think that you can do. You have accomplished those things. I know that though this is something that you were like, man, I just want this peer support certification right now, I know that you are going to reach this goal and you're going to excel. And I don't doubt that for 1 minute. And when that happens, I can't wait for you to jump on here and say, yes, I got my certification. But in the meantime, I understand that you still are searching for employment, and that can be a tough place to be. There may be some places in New York that will employ you with the understanding that in this amount of time, you'll have your certification. And so that may be a conversation you can have with people up there. Like, I'm working on this, and by this day, I will have my certification. And I know that sometimes here, that's the way we do things. I was being super fast for my master's in addiction. Berta, you're awesome. You got a lot going on, girl. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. And the sky's the limits for you. The sky's the limits. And I can only say that I am very honored to be a part of your journey. And I'm glad you're here today. Y'all, we're coming up on about 40 minutes. And I'm going to go ahead and end this here today. I hope that you got some really good information about early warning signs. I hope that there was a seed planted and maybe you were able to think about what some of yours are, and that you were able to identify those, and that maybe you're able to also see how they can be important in your journey of wellness, to know when you're doing unwell. Hey, Mandy. So I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. It is Thursday. The weekend is almost here. Monday is Memorial Day. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Have a cookout. Go to a cookout. Something on Monday. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy community, and be happy and healthy. If no one's told you today that they love you, just know that I love you, and I look forward to the next time that we can get together this way. I will say the next time we can get together this way, you and I, is on Saturday at 1 o'clock for Meals with Manda. We're going to be doing my favorite cookout side dish. And it is not only my favorite cookout side dish, but it is also one of my favorite people's favorite cookout side dish, or anytime side dish. So I'm excited about making some potato salad for y'all, and hooking Aaron Wells up with that. So he has a surprise coming, and I don't think that he knows yet. So there it is. So I'll see y'all on Saturday, and I look forward to that time to connect. And y'all have a great rest of your weekend, okay? We'll see you next time. Bye.